some Lakers spin swap before Harrison gets here to tell us this. So McMenamin just tweeted, the initial belief is that Anthony Davis experienced hip and back spasms after being pushed in the air by Larry Nance Jr. and landed in awkwardly, a source familiar with the situation told ESPN. So are the Lakers already making excuses for when they lose this playing game against the
Darvin Ham had to just call a timeout to pull him out of the game like 5 minutes ago. They were up 20. They probably could have benched their starters and won the game, and they decided to keep him in, and now he's out. There he is. Yo.
Thanks, guys. I'm glad I'm jumping on stage just in time to talk about news that doesn't make me want to kill myself. Anyway, what are you talking about?
What if I told you this is a 12-dimensional psychic chess move by the Lakers to this is like Paul Pierce with the wheelchair in the finals. This is like the exact same principle where you're
saying AD shit himself.
Yes, exactly.
He has a case of doo-doo ass.
Yes, exactly.
There's another angle here too.
Yes.
A lot of people are forgetting, the Lakers and the Pelicans are about to have to play each other again. They just played today. Obviously, the Lakers kind of embarrassed them. The Lakers, people forget this, but they do have a former high lottery pick that was selected by the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know if you knew this, but Mr. Jackson Hayes is about to go on his Mickey Mouse run.
Let's go
through the play-in to win it for the Lakers.
That, just for you guys a lot, I think, talk about like the most psychically damaged franchises. Mm-hmm. Like I think that might put the Pelicans are probably already there in the running with a lot of the stuff that happens to them.
Sure.
But if Jackson Hayes on a veterans minimum came back into New Orleans and basically kicked them out of the postseason, I think that would just add to the list.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're one of the more underrated.
It would be the second worst thing a Lakers big man has ever done to them.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say, it's underrated how psychically damaged that they are as a franchise because no one really cares about them.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, the Brooklyn Nets are also in the same thing, but like when the Nets don't have Kevin Durant, no one cares that they exist. It's kind of like the Pelicans don't have a big enough fan base for like the Sixers. Like we know all about like the psychic damage that has happened to them over the last 10 years or whatever. All the, bad things that have happened to certain franchises that have the Kings, but they all have big fan bases and they have passionate fan bases. So we talk about them regularly. The Pelicans are like, they're probably like, if you go to a bar in New Orleans and you tell them to put on the Pelicans game, they look at you like you just, shot someone.
Yeah. like our buddy Richard Normal, they're pretty much exclusively doing this to him. They might as well just turn to the camera and say, the New Orleans Pelicans fan, Richard Normal, we are doing this to psychically hurt you right
We
now.
have 3 Pelicans fans who listen to the podcast, and I think all of them listen to the podcast. Literally the entire
whole fan base.
Yeah,
direct line to them.
We could easily if the Pelicans are ever good, I could easily just pivot to being a Pelicans podcast. Just sell my soul.
As I think we should. Now, let's get right to the chicanery here. Because I'm going to say, Harrison, what I was setting up there is, would you rather play the Nuggets or the Thunder?
There we go.
So you actually are preempting my entire argument. I'm ready to go for this podcast.
Okay,
I think that it is time for the Lakers to make history and become the first team to tank a play-in game. I mean, it's great that they sort of earned their way into the 7-8 matchup. That gives you 2 chances to win one game, and that is the luxury that they now have. They can rest Anthony Davis on when is it Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday they're playing, correct? Yeah. So they can rest Anthony Davis on Tuesday, get him nice and healthy, for whoever comes out of the 9-10 matchup, and then go and face the Thunder. It's, I don't know. It's just like we've seen Anthony Davis's history. Like he's already hurt now anyway, maybe. And we've already seen sort of his history against European big men. And so like if you can get Chet instead in the first round.
But what if the Kings win the other play-in game? It's Kings Warriors in the other play-in game. Then you have to face the monster task of defeating Sabonis, who Anthony Davis has literally never beaten his entire career somehow.
Is that true?
No, that is true. Yeah, somebody. I mean, I don't think they've played that many times. I think it's like 8 times or something, or 9 times.
Because AD is usually out, or also keep in mind they were in separate
They were in
conferences.
different conferences for a long time. Yeah,
and then if you want to add on top of that, I think 3 of the wins were when Sabonis was on OKC early in his career, where he was like, he played like 15 minutes a game or whatever. So it's like, it's like giving the Sixers success to Buddy Hield this season and being like, thank you for carrying us to the 7 seed, Buddy Hield. Although he did play great today, but it's just it's not exactly a fair stat to Anthony Davis, but at the same time, he's never done it. Can he overcome the play-in riser? So he's never played in the play-in. We know he sucks in the playoffs, but could the play-in be the thing that unlocks Sabonis and his postseason woes?
If he was going against anyone but Kevon Looney in the first play-in game, I would be, I would say, maybe. But he's going, I think Draymond and Looney are going to shove him into a locker again. And then the Lakers, it's like rock, paper, scissors, the Lakers can never beat the Kings with Sabonis, but they can destroy the Warriors in the paint, like with AD. And so I don't know. I like their chances in that matchup. I think this is the path. It's like, it's like when Paul Atreides drank like the holy Baja Blast. I have seen sort of the one limited path through led by Gabe Vincent, and it's for the Lakers to tank their first play-in game and then beat the Warriors and then take out the Thunder, upset them in the first round, new Grizzlies, in every way. And then I'm not familiar enough with the seeding yet after this kind of wild last week to know who they'd be playing next.
Would be the other part.
Clippers, if you hope the Clippers could upset the Mavs in that round, then the Lakers go to round 2 against the Little Brother franchise and all their psychic damage there. Where somehow the Lakers somehow have more Eastern or Western Conference Finals appearances than the Clippers in the past decade.
Well, I think they're the same in the last. They both have made it. Oh no, the Lakers made it twice.
No, the Lakers, the Lakers 2-1. Yeah,
and it's like the Clippers have had like way more success basically since like 2010, like in the regular season, but technically the Lakers have still had more postseason success.
I have a theory though. I have a theory that the universe will not allow 2 things. It will not allow a Lakers-Clipper series, and it will not allow a Sixers-Bucks series. I remember there was a time as an Eagles fan in the mid-2000s, I remember there was a time where every year it was like, oh my God, we're finally going to get Steelers-Eagles in the Super Bowl. And every year I've prayed for a Sixers-Bucks series, and we never get it. And the Clippers-Lakers are the same thing. It's kind of similar. The other NBA analog that someone made to this was every year when we were hoping for the LeBron versus Kobe finals, and it just never happened somehow. It was just always like, oh, the Magic beat the Cavs, and then the Lakers didn't make it to the finals the other years. We never got those two against each other in a finals. It just feels like the universe won't allow the Clippers and Lakers. But I'll tell you this much. If the Lakers get it, if they lose this first play-in game and they get in as the 8 seed, that I've been more of a Thunder believer than most all year. That's like the nightmare scenario for the Thunder.
If Anthony Davis is healthy, they'll beat the Thunder. I'll say it right now. You
Which is
clip
insane.
This yeah.
It's like
it's just a bad matchup for OKC. Yep. Like I don't think that it means like OKC is fraud. Like there are teams that they could beat. I just don't think that the Lakers are one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look. I don't like good things happening to the Lakers, but it would be very delicious for Sam Presti to have sat on his hands at the trade deadline and eat a 1-8 upset.
Well, Will does point in the comments. He pointed out in the comments that the Thunder did acquire a foreign big man. They didn't trade for him, but Bismack Biyombo is on the so could we get the Bismack Renaissance? Yeah. The Biyombo Assance in the first round against the Lakers, because honestly, you might have to play
specifically of European centers. So I don't, I think, I don't think it's just foreign centers in general. I think it's like, it's. I mean, honestly, Willie Green should probably be fired for not playing Valanciunas more in today's game.
And honestly, it adds to on top of that. I do just want to add, if it is just European centers, Joel Embiid does have his French citizenship, so I think that counts, even though he's from Cameroon. So if we get Lakers Sixers in the finals, I'm just saying, I like our chances.
It doesn't count if Joel Embiid is going to play for Team USA. I don't.
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh my God, I forgot you hate America and you want to see us fall. Anti-America Harrison. That's why we have him on the podcast.
Yeah,
clutch shill, anti-imperialist. That's why.
These are forces that they align all the time.
Yeah. Clutch has actually been running guns for some time to BRICS nations. They're
That's a joke.
That's joke.
Please don't keep this on playback.
Yeah,
this is not a Patreon episode. You can sign up for the Uniball Patreon though, if you would like, for $5 a month and hear things that we can't say in playback episods.
Sometimes
Sam just gave you a free preview of some of the Patreon episodes.
Sam might have forgotten we weren't on the Patreon wall, so I apologize to everyone for that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, as someone points out in the comments, Rich Paul is getting guys paid for their labor. If anything, he's a leftist icon.
That's true. Yes. He's a very he's going to put Scabby outside the Staples Center.
Eat the Rich Paul.
There we go.
That's a fantastic comment, Will.
That's so good.
Love that. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. But let's get into the last day of the regular season. As we discussed before, Harrison, we need to get your opinion on this because me and Sam discussed it before we got on the air. What did you think of the Cavs and what they did? So if you missed this, the Cavs, not that you did, but just in general for people who are listening, if you missed this, the Cavs, I believe they sat both Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell today. And then they pulled I tuned into the game in the fourth quarter and I was like, who is this that has the ball? I don't know who it is. Like, that is like, I don't recognize them at first glance. And I'm like, I know almost everyone. And someone goes, that's Amani Bates. The former mixtape hooper, future Kevin Durant that didn't turn out to be Kevin Durant, went to multiple different high schools. I think he went to multiple different colleges, if I remember correctly, or at least decommitted from one and went to another. But long story short here, they were throwing the game. They threw the game against the Hornets because since the Bucks lost their game and the Knicks ended up winning their game, but the Cavs could have jumped up to the 2 seed with a win today since the Bucks lost. And instead, they fall to the 4. They will play the Magic in the first round, and they will avoid the 2-7 matchup against the Sixers or the Heat, whoever win that playing game. So what did you think of that?
I think the basketball gods generally don't reward stuff like this, as much as actually I should be careful here because I'm
you just said
the same thing.
But the Lakers, they get rewarded a lot for things they don't deserve.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could, if there's anyone it's going to work out for, it's the Lakers. I mean, it's a kind of thing. The Cavs are going to be punished twice, for the Lakers throwing this play-in game,
Right.
Yeah, this is something that happens to flyover state teams. So you know what I'm saying? The basketall gods are
Wagner
is
going to break Mobley's hip in like the first game on trying to
if that's the case, I like the Cavs. I like the Magic. Or I'm sorry, the Cavs' chances in this series if Evan Mobley's out for the series. They play really well without him and Garland. So,
so wait, was that maybe was JB Bickerstaff trying to?
Was he cooking?
Was he cooking, trying to set Garland? Maybe he was actually trying. I think that the Lakers are hooked up to the same Eldritch ley line that the Miami Heat are. And the Miami Heat have not been punished. Yeah, the coastal elites have and the Miami Heat have not been punished for these types of things in the past. Mm-hmm. So, like last year. So I think the Lakers are in fine shape to have to go through Luka Doncic and Kyrie for the conference finals. So congratulations to the Lakers. on yet another conference finals appearance.
I want to know later this
year. I
year.
do think that the most fitting way to end the Clippers' time in the Crypt, the arena formerly known as Staples Center, is for them to finally like get a Lakers, Clippers playoff matchup, and then just get all their guys don't play. They just get like punted out of the arena.
Yeah.
They get the full eviction notice, and then boom, we're back in the conference finals. And
yes,
hopefully Denver, somebody took them out. I don't know who, but hopefully
Wolves.
someone did.
Wolves, yeah. we're queued up for Wolves Nuggets round 2.
Oh yeah, it's the 2-3. Yeah.
So
that was another factor of something that happened today. But I wanted to get your opinion on this, Sam.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump,
later
this year at the RNC, which is in Cleveland, I think.
Yeah, I'll be there.
They hosted. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I go every year.
I know you're usually a keynote speaker, representative for Ball there.
Yeah,
and I wanted to know what he would think of the Cavs throwing this game today. Would he think it's a savvy business move to potentially get more home playoff games if that series goes 7?
But it's like it's not a savvy business move. You're killing like the Lakers are right now by losing the 7-8 matchup, which I think they will do. That is like turning the RNC into like paying all your legal fees, like savvy business move.
True.
This is a loser move. This is the Cavs did the equivalent of the beer catastrophe from Elizabeth Warren. Why did she thank him for being in his house? He's supposed to be there. It's his house too. That's the Cavs. It's Darius Garland's house too.
Yeah,
he should be there.
Yeah,
it's also a bad business move for them in the sense of like, why did Donovan Mitchell want to leave Utah? It's because he wanted to sort of go to a contender or go to a big market, get sort of all this attention. And if you're throwing your game to end up on the NBA TV series against the Magic, that's not helping Donovan Mitchell get his endorsements up. That's not how you get him to sign that extension.
I was going to fade the Cavs anyway. Like I've been on fade the Cavs, especially since Mitchell's come back and hasn't looked the same.
They've looked bad.
They've looked bad down the stretch. And like, if you remove that time period where both Garland and Mobley were out, mainly Garland, if you remove that stretch, they're like a 500 team on the season. Like that, they're really not this like they weren't quite as good as their record. And I've been saying they can't be called frauds because no one believes in them. And the thing about this, I totally agree with you. I said this before. This gives them 0% chance of making the conference finals. Now, were they going to have some insane luck to make the conference finals before? Yes. No matter what they did, I think whatever matchup they got, whether it was the Magic or the Heat or the Sixers, maybe if Joel's injury isn't quite, they're more concerned about that. They would have had to get luck just to win a series in the first place. And then if you get to the second round, congratulations, you get the opportunity to get kicked in the fucking teeth by the Boston Celtics and have 0 shot to get to the conference finals. Whereas if you looked at it from the other route, you could have said, okay, you get the 2 seed and then maybe the Bucks or the Knicks are in the 3 seed and you can probably get to the second round and beat one of those teams. I'm not saying that I would take them, but I'm saying they would have needed some sort of injury luck anyway to beat one of these teams. And yeah, maybe they beat the Magic because the Magic can't score. And they, they say, hey, look, we won X amount of games. We got a top 4 seed. We had a home court in the playoffs and we won a series. But like you said, if you want Donovan Mitchell to stay there long-term, I don't think he's won playoff series before. They've gotten to the second round plenty of times in Utah. He wants to go further into the playoffs. He wants to try to legitimately contend. And you basically just punted on your chance to even have a small fraction of a chance to get to the conference finals. And I think it's a bozo coward move, to be completely honest.
Well, probably, but do even they believe that they can get to the conference finals?
I don't even know if they believe that they can win a playoff series.
Yeah, I mean, probably you don't do this if you're feeling real confident about your team. It's like, now let's see if we can game the matchups here a little bit and give ourselves as much of an edge to like sort of get past this one team as we can. And I don't know, I guess they just hope that Boston gets hurt in their first round series or something.
Even if Porzingis was hurt, who's the one I think everyone thinks would get hurt because the Jays generally don't get hurt. But even if like Porzingis or Drew or whoever were hurt, I would still take the Celtics.
I think even if Tatum got hurt.
Tatum gets that's the funniest possible thing. I want that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's possible. Like possible.
Tatum is only ever hurt after the series is over and his team is lost. We all know this. Okay, it's just like it. He was fine until, and then it's afterwards. Like, well, he had that terrible Game 7. He was hurt though. You know.
I'm gonna be accused of not fighting back against this slander by Celtics fans. So let me push back on that very, very important. Okay. No, Harrison, don't say that. Don't say that. No, please don't say that.
I've never rooted for a player who gets bailed out and given injury excuses.
Same here. Never, ever in my life. No. I have never. Yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah. Joel Embiid missed the game today. By the way, I just didn't. Anyway, continue.
He was resting up for the play-in.
So exactly. My theory about the Cavs thing is they know this thing is fucking dead.
Yeah.
They are trying to losing in the 4-5. They still get the home. They still get the home money. Like the way that they might not have otherwise. There's a chance they get swept if they end up playing Philly. I know they're dead already. They maybe squeeze out one, maybe even two more home games out of a series against the Magic like that. I don't think like either team is sweeping that series the way that like the potential there would be for a healthy Embiid. And Donovan Mitchell has basically said, I'm not going back. Like Donovan Mitchell will almost certainly be on a new team this year. You had like Dan Gilbert being like, well, we're pretty confident we can sign him to something. And Donovan Mitchell's like, yeah, no. He just basically said no.
Like Dan Gilbert publicly embarrassing himself over his star player on his team.
Yeah, he would never do that.
He would never do that. Did he release that press release in Comic Sans? The Donovan Mitchell?
That would be.
Well, we feel pretty good about Donovan Mitchell coming back.
That would be so funny if he just put out a statement. He's like, on Donovan Mitchell's comments.
We feel confident.
We can betrayal to Cavs Nation, and once we trade him after the playoffs are over, we will win a title before the so-called fraud king of formerly of Salt Lake City ever wins one. Well, I don't know. I mean, your chances are decent there. I don't know. It's less bold than like declaring you're going to win a title before LeBron.
It's gonna
prime LeBron.
They're going to be trading that guy to the Miami Heat again, just like they were last time. So,
well, this is what I'm saying is that maybe they save themselves the embarrassment of potentially losing to the Heat and then having to turn around and trade their best player to the Heat after the season. The loser from Louisville, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Go blue.
My thing about this is like, they've just got to like, they know that Tyler Hero is going to be on the team next year. They're just trying to like rip the Band-Aid off. And I think that losing in a 4-5, you have a second straight round. Now you get to be the owner and say, we had to shake things up. It just wasn't working. And the only way for us to get a decent return was to trade Donovan Mitchell. We had no choice. We didn't want to, but we lost in the first round again. So like, we've got to do what's right for the franchise.
We had to send him to LA for Rui Hachimura. It was just
Rui. D'Lo.
I know you need more salary, but I'm just, that's the base of the package. We'll work on the rest of it. They'll work on the rest of the Cavs in the offseason.
Two picks, D'Lo, Rui, and
Gabe
Vincent, who needs to play with Max Strus to be effective.
Yeah, D'Lo's played too well almost down the stretch. Well, I guess we'll see how the playoffs go. To
get traded for Donovan Mitchell. Oh, because he's a free agent.
No, not to get traded for. No. I'm not.
I was like, okay, Bill Simmons. I'm not trading Peyton Pritchard. That guy gives a shit.
I thought he went on a 14-4 run by himself today.
That's right.
Which was. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to go back and put him on the Mickey Mouse March All-Star teams just for that.
Well, I think that what were they cooking when they said he was the next Jalen Brunson? Great college player, hooper, both 6'1" guards, but no, we get the last game of the regular season. We had a few things happen. The Bucks get crushed by the Magic. The game didn't matter that much to the Bucks because the Bucks, obviously, the Knicks did win, so they left them in the standings. But the Bucks will now get the Pacers in the first round. But I'm going to save all of my predictions for the first round for the next episode. But we do need to talk about the fact that the Bucks have now finished 17-19 under Doc. They could potentially miss Giannis for the first few games of the play-in. And Chiodo was cooking when he was like, this is the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles all over again. They start out really hot. They fire a coach halfway through the season. They have a shadow coach installed, and they end up stumbling all the way down the stretch of the year, and they go below 500 without like everyone. I watched most of the Bucks game. At one point, I thought to myself, is Bobby Portis their best player when Giannis is out? Like, dude, Dame looks so washed. Chris Middleton looks washed. Brook Lopez looks washed. Patrick Beverley on any given night looks washed. They're old. They're slow. I think that this is going to be the series. There are a few series where it's like, oh, I'm taking. I feel like a lot of people are going to end up taking the Pacers over the Bucks in this, like as the upset.
How furious are all the Miami Heat fans? We almost got the demonic thing where if the Bulls pull it off in overtime, the Heat just have to beat the Sixers, and they would in this instance because they're evil. Like, and they would have been playing the Bucks in round one, and everyone would have been like, well, here we go again, the Miami Heat. And it's like, no, they're playing the 9th best team in the East right now. Like the Bucks are
without Giannis.
The Bucks without Giannis. They're turbo cooked, man. Like when would Giannis have to come back for them to like even have? I mean, I get the
game
Pacers.
One.
Yeah, the Pacers.
Like, no, not a joke. Might need to be game one. But then again, the Pacers. Yeah. This is how I feel about the Magic and the Pacers. They can beat anyone on any. They're not good, but also they can beat anyone on. It's kind of the Heat. I kind of put the Heat in this bucket too. Yeah. They could beat anyone on any given night, and they could also lose to the Grizzlies down 7 rotation players. Like they play down to their opponents, generally speaking. Like the Pacers always have these games. Like the obviously I'm bitter towards the Pacers right now because they fucked the Sixers by losing to the Cavs the other night. But that's another point. Is that like. I feel like I don't fully trust this Pacers team. I feel like this Pacers team hasn't fully gelled. But if you're telling me Giannis is out the first 2 to 3 games, I think they have a good shot. Like, but knowing Giannis, like he's just a super healer. And if he just comes back in the first game, I don't think anyone's going to pick against a Giannis-led team, even with their vibes being this bad. Now, you might pick against them in the second round, but it feels kind of Warriors-esque to me from last year, where like former championship team, you know, superstar level player. The Pacers are very similar to the Kings in the way that they run and they gun, and they're kind of the scrappy seeds. Obviously, the seeds have been flipped in this scenario, but that feels like a scenario where you like it goes 7, but Giannis just takes over in game 7, and the Bucks win. So
division rivalry where one team has kind of gotten the better of the other one for a long period of time.
All season, the Pacers have gotten the better of the Bucks, though.
Yeah,
they're like didn't they play? I think they're gonna have after this. If this series goes 7, they will have played each other 12 times this year because they played each other 5 times during the regular season.
That's
The Lakers were on track to play the Suns. I think it could have been like 6 or 7 times, depending on how like the play-in stuff shook out because of the in-season tournament.
The Pelicans too. They played the Pelicans a ton.
Yeah, now they're going to have played the Pelicans quite a few times as well.
Yeah. So that is that. Like I think if I remember correctly, I think the Pacers beat the Bucks 4 of the 5 games this year. 4-1 Pacers. Yeah. So and there's also a clip. Have you seen the Chris Haynes clip that he just reposted today?
No.
So Malik Beasley, who, by the way, has been dropped out of the starting lineup since he made these comments back in January.
Oh, I do remember this.
So during January, Sam, Malik Beasley said to Chris Haynes in an interview on the Pacers, I know we're going to play them in the playoffs, and boy, it's not going to be pretty for them after they lost 4 of the 5 times they played the Pacers this year. And we are setting up for that post to go, as I posted, speaker box love below, almost double diamond after this series if the Pacers upset them.
I'm sorry, can I jump in here for a second?
Yes.
Malik Beasley is he is setting himself up to become one of the worst trash talkers of all time, or like one of the worst like braggers of all time, whatever, like, whatever you want to say, because if this goes wrong, he already had the 3-point thing where he campaigned for like 2 years in a row. He was doing like podcast appearance after podcast appearance, ending up to like begging to go in, and then he came in last place. And now after, it's just generational lack of self-awareness of like who he is and like who is fueling his team's success.
And he can't even be the best at being the worst trash talker because Grant Williams is in the league.
Yeah, he's not
like he can't even like have that title. So
yeah,
he's
not even good enough at that, at being bad at trash talking. He's runner up. This is very similar. I've made this comp before, but it's the fucking video of the kid and he's like, "Come kill my uncle about it, pussy." That's usually with Giannis standing behind him. A Giannis with a fucked up calf standing behind him.
He's like, "What the fuck?" Like, guess what, guys? You're not going to want to face Giannis. It's Giannis. Come beat these guys up.
Yeah, Tyler Halliburton, you're out of here, man. You're gonna be we're gonna lock you down, me and Dame and Pat Connaughton. Like, what are you gonna do?
Me and Dame are easily gonna average 35 plus points combined, in this series.
We're also set up for like a truly god awful round 2. I'm really hoping the Sixers beat the Heat in the play-in, because then we have two pretty fun series in the East. Like there's going to be a lot of national scrutiny on like Heat Celtics for obvious reasons. I think Knicks Sixers is the second and third best teams in the conference playing each other in round 1.
Yeah.
But then it sets up a a really dog shit, like where the Celtics are playing the winners of Cavs Magic, and then
when they somehow still go 7 with that team, it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, that will happen. By the way, I guarantee you, the Magic, it will happen. I guarantee you, it will happen.
No, it would happen with either team. This isn't even a commentary on the Celtics. They just would not take them seriously enough. There would be like 3 games where they just didn't pay attention on defense and just like let them, and then they'd win by like 30 in Game 7.
It would be like that Hawks series last year, but like with Donovan Mitchell, like, and or I don't know, Franz or someone being like Jalen Suggs.
You're missing the forest for the trees here, bud.
What?
Mo Wagner revenge series for getting cut 2 years ago.
I'm not even kidding. Mo Wagner does kind of play like a dog, like when he plays.
He's going to activate his former Laker powers. He's like, this is my number 1 rival. It's time to take these guys out.
There you go. That's why. Yeah, exactly.
He's like, Kurt Rambis drafted me. He told me all about these guys. I'm ready to go.
like Bucks Sixers or Bucks Knicks or Bucks Pacers, like all of those series fucking suck. Whoever wins Knicks Sixers. I'm saying for the second round. The second round is going to suck because if it's Bucks,
if Giannis is back, I think that would be a good series.
Also, that would be an amazing series just for the quotes that we would get after games.
Oh my God. Doc would be on a generational meme creator run.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Sixers would pack the Bucks up. I think the Knicks would pack the Bucks up. I think the Bucks are drawing dead in the second round. Like
I'm so excited for this Bucks flameout just because it's like you have some of the greatest blame shifters we've seen in NBA history on the same team. And like, how are they going to get the knives out and stab each other when it all goes down? Like you're going to have Doc just, I think you guys were riffing on it on the pod before. He's like, oh, you'd have to ask Dame, how he's feeling. And if he still feels like he's a star, and we're gonna get Dame leaks about sources say he just was frustrated that the culture was not sort of built around his winning mentality, and the equipment manager wouldn't develop a secret handshake with him, and it's just he didn't feel at home in Milwaukee.
It's gonna be great when after the series, after all these years, all we had to hear about was if Damian Lillard just had a generational defensive wing / big like Draymond Green that Steph Curry had in Golden State, that they would have the same number of championships. And then he gets to play a full season with Giannis and they lose in the first or second round. and we get to just sit back and soak all that in.
I also see Will in the comments. Giannis is underrated in this respect. Like, he will definitely, after the series, do something about, well, how many teams make it to the second round? Not that many each year. It's like in college, we celebrate.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on, I'm not done. 5, 6, 7, 8. There's only 8 teams. There's only 8 teams that make. You would call it a failure to not make it to
college.
The
we celebrate. We call them the Elite 8. And in the most elite league in the world, we're not celebrating the most elite 8 of the 30 teams.
The same fraction of teams, too, if you think about it.
Wait, I just thought of another wrinkle in Bucks Pacers. What happens if the Pacers keep the ball away from him again?
Oh my God.
I forgot about that. That was and by the way, I thank you for
we're getting malice in the what I don't know what
the field house
center or whatever it's called. Is that what it's
like fucked up at the forum.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you to all the Bucks fans who pointed out to me that actually it's good that Giannis was allowed to freak out about that, and it wasn't funny because he sends it to his parents. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely not funny. I don't know what I was thinking that was very funny for a grown man to get really mad that they wouldn't hand over the basketball.
If he was about to like charge through the walls like the Kool-Aid man. He was like, so there were like 3 guys holding him back. He was so mad about this ball.
Yeah, he went Isaiah Stewart
Dame
mode.
set this. Dame set this meaningless record, then I just wanted the ball for him.
A real chess move, just a psychological chess move. Oh no, he was a 2-way player. Never mind. I was gonna say throw Oscar Tshiebwe out there. First play, have him go out there for the tip. But he
Giannis just tries to fight him. He's just
it's like a hockey game where all 5 people start scrapping.
They've got it. We were talking about players of the year and what they've gone on to do with all the Edie things. Tshiebwe, maybe that might be the market inefficiency. This could be a step. Yeah.
I mean, there's been no one who has upset a former MVP quite like Oscar Tshiebwe did this year. So that might be the market inefficiency if you really want to throw off your opponent. Question. There's a great question in the chat. James Johnson is still on the Indiana Pacers, right? The enforcer.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually have no idea. I'm not going to lie to you, Trill. I haven't looked at the Pacers roster in, I'm going to say, probably since the Siakam trade. I'm going to be real with you.
Well, I have good news for you then. Buddy Hield is a Philadelphia 76er. He's not on the Pacers anymore.
I mean, that one I knew.
He's no longer on the Pacers.
Yeah, he's free.
Yeah, he's free to get benched by Nick Nurse and only play 13 minutes when the shot
finally on a contender.
He's exactly. Yeah. Well, Will's been trolling me all season saying that trading Pat Bev for Buddy Hield is the ultimate wrong vibes because Buddy Hield has never made the playoffs and Pat Bev has only missed the playoffs once last year and he made it to the last play-in game. So he's made the postseason every single year. So he told me when those trades went down, he said, bad vibe shifts. The Sixers are going to they're going to fall into the play-in and lose 2 straight games. And now I'm worried because Buddy Hield might be the anti-Pat Bev.
There's obviously an argument for the trade, but vibes-wise, I mean, he's right. It's you trade ultimate winner Pat Bev for
exactly.
Yeah, whatever Buddy Hield is. I don't
for 31-year-old loser Buddy Hield, sneaky old.
Can I real quick, guys? Do you want to guess the So Doug McDermott is the second oldest player on the Indiana Pacers. Do you want to guess how many years are between him and James Johnson, who is the oldest player on the Pacers?
I mean, James Johnson's got to be like 37, and Doug McDermott's like 31, so 6?
It's 5. It's 32 and 37, but that is insane.
Yeah.
And he's 37 years old. And he's not I feel like if you're not like a super duper star, you don't get to play like that long.
He's just to fight people if necessary. Yes. Yeah, that's like it was literally after that scrum. They're like, well, okay. I mean, we need to get James Johnson in here.
He's just Indiana Corn. He's Indiana Cornrows Haslam.
God, man, that's so funny.
He does have cornrows, and and Harrison. Isn't that their blog, Indie Cornrows, folks?
Oh, I see.
Have you heard about this one?
Yes.
Wah, wah.
Yes. Anyway, I don't know what his hairstyle is right now, but I know at one point he did have them. So,
I'm gonna go ahead and say that, yeah, I guess I'm just like looking forward. I'm hoping that it like doesn't go chalk right now, for whatever reason, because we're in for like a really boring East second round. I think if things hold the way that they have.
Well,
So,
let's talk about the play-in then, because we haven't talked about Sixers Heat yet. So I want to just put this out there. The Sixers have won 8 games in a row to finish the season. They still couldn't escape the play-in. I believe they finished on the season 31-8 with Joel Embiid in the lineup with a plus 10.5 net rating. If this were a series, the Sixers Heat, I would take the Sixers in 6. But because the Heat are the luckiest team in the history of the NBA, and it's a 1-game sample, and all you need is Tyler Hero and, I don't know, DeLon Wright or Kevin Love or whoever to go bullshit mode. I know, just history tells us the Heat win this game. The Heat win this game because they somehow avoid the Celtics, who I actually think I'd still pick the Knicks over the Heat in the series, to be completely clear. But I think that they give themselves more of a puncher's chance in a Heat-Knicks matchup. The Sixers could definitely beat the Knicks, I think. And I think that the Sixers are going to have to fight their way into the playoffs in a 1-game scenario against, if they lose this game, against the Bulls or Hawks, and that will make me sweat it out and go down to the wire as well, and just for the chance to probably lose to the Boston Celtics. That's just the vibe of these franchises. On paper, the Sixers are way better than the Heat, even when they haven't played their best game. When Joel plays, they tend to beat the Heat. But it doesn't matter. I'm just going on vibes this postseason, and on vibes, some bullshit player on the Heat can't miss in this game, and the Sixers lose despite probably, outplaying the Heat, and they somehow figure out a way, and Jimmy Butler decides to stop taking 7 shots a game, and Eric Spoelstra figures out a way to drive me insane. So
let me channel Mammon here real quick. Let's say that happens. I'm guessing if it is Sixers Heat, the very first play of the game is going to be Haywood Highsmith falling down behind Joel Embiid while Kevin Love shoves him over him in like a chop block style injury. Because if they get to the next round, then all they have to do is do a Terminator style targeted strike on Jalen Brunson to like replicate the Giannis thing from last year.
Sure.
Because that is the weakness of this Knicks team right now, especially with Barrett out. If Jalen Brunson goes down, they're cooked. They are cooked beyond. They rely so much on Jalen Brunson, which I do not think necessarily like makes it easier to defend them, because Jalen Brunson's really good. Just that like they have no creation outside of Jalen Brunson, especially without Randall on the team. There's like 0 shot creation on the roster. And I could absolutely see Jalen Brunson, game 2, some stupid bullshit happens and he gets hurt, and then the Heat are sending that one to 7, and then the Heat get fucking whatever, the Bucks or the Pacers out of that series. Meanwhile, the Celtics and Sixers have another fucking 7-game slugfest in the 1-8 matchup.
A week ago, we were like, the Heat are probably dead. But now that it's broke this way, I'm like, just think about the ways that it is. The Sixers did everything possibly they could in the last 8 games of the season, and it didn't matter at all. And they still will end up in a 1-game matchup.
Play Embiid today, right?
They still blew out the net.
It didn't matter, right?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I said this before when I was on the stream. This might just be me coping. I'm not really sure. But I think Embiid would have played today if it was you win and you automatically get the 6th seed.
Yeah.
But because it was, even if you win this game, you might end up in the play-in, I think they said, we can beat this Nets team who's resting half of their guys anyway without Joel, and they blew them out. It wasn't even competitive in the second half. And they probably said to themselves, is it more important to get Joel rest for this play-in game that we're probably going to have to play anyway? And I think that's what they banked on, because Joel, at one point, since he's come back from his injury, he did miss 2 games. They happened to win both of those games because they were against weaker opponents. And I think they were strategically trying to rest him as much as possible so that the knee could have more time to recover. And also, I think I don't know if he sprained the knee or if it was whatever, but he did hurt his knee on Friday during the game, and he came back in to the game because they looked at it and it seemed fine. So I'm assuming that they were like, our priority should be resting Joel. We actually, I don't know if you know this, Harrison, but we get an extra day for our play-in because the Flyers own the whole thing with the Sixers versus the Flyers has been the Flyers own the stadium. Comcast owns the stadium. So they want to build their own stadium here and gentrify our Chinatown neighborhood.
Well, I think, they literally want to demolish Chinatown, I believe.
Yes, basically.
Is the plan. It's my understanding. Yes. I can't be sued if I just say that's my understanding.
That's
my understanding is that Josh Harris wants to get a bulldozer himself and just bulldoze Chinatown. But I don't I don't know that that's the case. That's my understanding.
That was my understanding as well, actually.
Yeah,
so, we're on the same page. Yeah,
but it will create 100 more minimum wage jobs where Aramark won't pay people.
No, and they definitely won't try to union bust if the stadium workers try to unionize or anything like that. They won't do that. I'm saying.
No. It's obviously we are a pro Harris Blitzer Corporation podcast. So I do just want to clarify there that we actually, I don't know if you know this about us, but we root for the New Jersey Devils just because they are also owned by Harris Blitzer. So we don't have any loyalties to Philadelphia Flyers. And we're actually going to root for the Commanders next year because they own that and they're starting their own sports network and we're going to subscribe to it. So
I'm sorry, guys. I've just gotten so
Commanders
parched.
Plus.
I just got so parched. Give me 1 second. I'm feeling like I want some plant-based hydration. Give me 1 second. Hey, do you guys have any Pure Fuel Sport, the #1 plant-based hydration?
That's right.
You guys have 7 followers on your social media accounts? Well, it sounds like you guys should be the official sports drink of a major sports franchise.
Yep.
Send me a little bit more of that.
Yeah, we got a new sponsor, guys.
Well, I mean, not everyone can get Jake Paul's Goat Fuel as their official sports drink. So,
Do you guys really have
Prime? I'm sorry, I don't know. Is it Prime? I don't know.
Prime. It is.
Yeah,
Prime.
it's whatever. It's whatever the YouTuber guy one is because there were these really embarrassingly bad photoshops that they released of him in a Lakers jersey, dunking in the practice facility. But him and his friend are very clearly not there because his friend is the same exact pose and facial expression in both photos. It's incredible.
Yeah. Now I'm just thinking about the Paul brothers telling LeBron about their trip to Japan.
Weren't they in LA with the entire neighborhood mobilized against them because there was too many 23-year-olds jumping and
because they were doing jackass bits in the middle of their it's when they tried to get Bam Margera out of Westchester, Pennsylvania because he was driving his fat pedophile uncle off the cliff. I can make a joke about that because 1, he's dead, and 2, it was proven. So anyway,
well, actually, in that case, yeah, you can't. I mean, dead people cannot sue for libel. I took Kamla in college, so that was the one thing you could say whatever you want about someone if they're dead.
Yeah, exactly. R.I.P. to the friend of the podcast, OJ.
Yeah. So I mean it because he can't sue me anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless he was doing
anyway, Sixers Heat playin.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Fuck! How did we get here?
Sorry.
Oh damn it.
My bad. Yeah, but Sixers. I think Pelicans, Lakers. Look, should we talk about that matchup?
No. We have to talk. We have to give our predictions. This is a play-in predictions podcast, so we have to predict. So I have a few things. One, I said I'm not worried about Embiid. I think he's going to play in this game. I think he'll be fine. I also said, my question was, what Heat role player goes off? We each have to pick one. Because, by the way, Kevin Love did get injured today, and I'm not joking. Kevin Love was the best Miami Heat player in the last Sixers Heat game. I talked about it on a recent podcast. He was incredible in that game. I mean, he could not miss. And he also was just dominating the Sixers on the boards. A game that the Sixers won by 4 points, and Kevin Love finished that game in only 19 minutes with 11 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists. In 19 minutes. He outplayed Bam Adebayo by a ton, and he got injured during today's game. He might still play, but I would imagine he's questionable for the next game. So who do we think is the one Miami Heat role player that goes off in this game? I think it's Hayward Highsmith because he's just been doing it against the Sixers all season. He doesn't miss.
The 2K, that's an easy answer. That's the 2K create a player Heat Devil Magic role player guy. Like they just built him out of thin air. That's to do something like this to the Sixers.
See, but he's like shown signs of it in the regular season. So I'm actually going to go off the board and not pick Hayward Highsmith. I'm going to pick that Patty Mills suddenly seems like it's 2014. For Patty
I was
Mills.
looking at him.
Yes.
And I don't know if he'll play unless Rozier's out, though.
I think Rozier is out, isn't he?
He was out, but also, like, I never know at this time of year where, like, sometimes it's just like, this game really didn't matter for the Heat. Like, the best they could have done basically was, even with some luck, if the Sixers had lost today, they could have jumped up 1 seed. And, like, they're still in the same play-in game. So I think that they might have been resting him just due to, like, I mean, he also was killing the Sixers late in that game. Terry Rozier, not Patty Mills, who's been terrible. But Patty Mills is a good guess. If he does get run in this game, I could absolutely see him hitting a ton of big shots. The Hayward Highsmith one is interesting to me because he was terrible as the Sixers two-way role player. Mike Levin of Rights to Ricky Sanchez was the only one that believed in him at all. And everyone else was like, this guy kind of sucks. And of course, he's turned into a good role player for the Heat that is shooting 40% from 3 on the season. And if I had to guess, I'm going to guess he's shooting over 50% from 3 on the season against the Sixers this season. Oh, there we go. Someone posted it. He is averaging 13 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals against the Sixers this season. And he shot 40% from 3 against the Sixers, 50% from 3 against the Sixers, 50% from 3 against the Sixers. So I'm taking Hayward.
Okay, that's a good pick.
Yeah. It's too obvious for me. He's their new Gabe Vincent. Gabe Vincent did this to the Sixers all the time. And then obviously he went to you guys and he, lost the lower half of his body.
No, he's still look. The Lakers are undefeated when their big 3 of LeBron, AD, and Gabe Vincent plays since February. Okay,
let's go. Even though we shoot 30% from the field.
3-0 in those games in which the big 3 plays.
I'm glad you're here to check Trill's slander because I've pointed out the same thing, Harrison, and Trill didn't believe me. He still insists that he's not
a guy that shoots 30% from the field is a good NBA player.
Yeah, no, you got to keep them on their toes.
No,
teams don't know how to deal with that.
He's putting the clamps on defense. You haven't watched it. He'll come in for like 2 minutes and just really disrupt things.
He played 13 minutes today and didn't make a shot. He went 0 for 2 again.
Hey, I'm just saying, you got to look at the Lakers season-long net rating since Gabe Vincent came back. I imagine Gabe's is in like the top.
This is disgusting.
Like probably 3.
I can't even.
No, it's insane. His plus-minus is positive every game. No, he's not. I don't think.
Okay.
Maybe he is. I don't think so.
He is. I feel like he is.
I don't think so. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just like accidental. It's just like like it's been communicated to me through the universe that he's clutch, and I'm just like standing for him on. No, but I just love the Lisanal Gabe nickname, so that got me in on him. He's
Lisanal Gabe.
He's leading us on our purple and gold tinged jihad across the playoffs, and
let's go. He's not clutch. So, all right. You're
so this is legitimate. I clearly really feel this way.
Yeah.
No, I as far as my random Heat role player, I am going to. I was thinking about Cole Swider, but he's unfortunately a 2-way player. So I was going to go with him. So just because like it does feel like something that would happen to the Sixers that would drive you, Trill, specifically insane. That a guy who went to Villanova at one point, goes off against them in a play-in game.
Yeah, that's why I'm dreading. There you go. I'm dreading the eventual Sixers-Knicks series if it does happen because I'll have to hear the soy face posting Sixers fans talking about how we should have signed all the Villanova guys when Dante DiVincenzo sucked for most of his career until last year. So really, really looking forward to that one. But we have to make our picks here. So
I'm going with Thomas Bryant.
Okay, so you're going. That's
because
a great one.
It
Especially
does.
Kevin Love doesn't play.
high energy big, just like, he just like shoves Joel into the stanchion at some point. He's like, this is a man, we know that he doesn't lack for confidence. He was posting up on LeBron's, passing Kareem shot. There's that famous picture of him like making the post seal. He's ready to get the ball. Like, he is ready for this opportunity. He's like, it's finally time for me to face off against my number one rival with all these stakes, Joel Embiid,
Yeah. So, and some would say the best Brian in Lakers history.
Yeah, I would say that.
It's hard to argue against.
So who are we picking for the game?
I'm still picking Sixers even after all this.
I feel like, I don't know. The Heat are not a good team.
Doesn't matter.
But there's such a clear path for them to Mickey Mouse their way back to the conference finals.
No,
they have.
You can't have it.
It does feel like the perfect thing to happen, where they beat the Heat, they beat the Sixers in the play-in game, and then they beat the Bucks, again in the 2-seed game.
It's the Knicks, so it would be Jalen Brunson. They hurt Jalen Brunson is the path here. Which is totally possible because he's small and they have no scruples about hurting people to advance in first round matches.
I mean, the Heat have never tried to injure Knicks players during a playoff series before, so
no,
I don't
never do that.
Yeah, I mean, either way, we're gonna get either Spo versus Tibbs or Nurse versus Tibbs in the first round, which is the peak Stalin versus Hitler series.
I'm going to pick the Sixers because I need this so badly. I need the Heat in round one, where they will not win a single game, and we can finally crush them like the bugs they are under heel.
Okay.
So I need that very badly. I really need the Sixers to take care of business. Please, please, please send us the Miami Heat and end this for everyone.
God,
okay.
Sixers do it. I need to watch Sam's reactions during a Celtics Heat series.
Oh, this one is like the little bonus one for me. I will be very relaxed. I'll be having a great time this Heat Celtics series. I'm very calm.
I'm going to just stick with, because I've been in on this Sixers team since Joel's come back. Everything's went right for them, and we still ended up here. So I'm gonna guess that Satan's team wins, and I'm gonna pick the Heat. I will be live streaming for that game, so watch it with me on Playback on Wednesday. I'll also be streaming for the Tuesday play-in games as well, so join me for those on Playback. By the way, it sounds like DeAnthony Melton also might be out in this game, so that is something to look out for, but the Sixers have been playing without him for most of the season anyway, so it's not like they're not used to not having him play. So yeah, last thing on that is I think whichever team gets out of this game probably wins the second play-in game. But I will say, I think if the Bulls or the Hawks, I think either of those teams could beat the Heat in a one-game matchup. I think that the Heat just play down to teams too often. And honestly, I don't even know if it's playing down. I think it's just their style of play. Like, they're just not that good. Yeah. And they could easily lose to like a hot jump shooting Hawks team, or like Alex Caruso looked like the best player in the court at times today during the Knicks Bulls game. Like, I could absolutely see one of those two teams upsetting the Heat and having them fall out. I would be very surprised if the Sixers, unless Joel gets hurt in one of these games, loses to either of those teams. So we'll see. Sam, I need to know before we move on here.
Sixers have never lost a pivotal game to the Hawks.
No, never. No. Especially a Trae Young led Hawks team is the important thing to remember. When they fired their coach recently too. So that's something to keep in mind. I know it's been a year, but still, let me cook. Sam, I need to know before we move on here. Of the lower teams, the Bulls, the Hawks, and the Heat, the teams that you could potentially face, because I know Sixers are the best of the four. How would you rank the teams that you would like to face in order?
The Hawks, number one, because Quinn Snyder's a bad coach.
But haven't they split with the Celtics this year?
Yeah, well, I guess that's true. I don't know. Honestly, it might be the Heat, honestly. Like, I think I want to see the Heat the most.
I feel like the Bulls have got to be the answer for this.
I don't know. Like,
they swept
I don't know. They swept them, but like the Bulls are kind of different right now, like than they were early in the year. Aren't the Bulls? Am I making this up? Aren't the Bulls like a 40 like 8-win team? Like after like if you like throw out the first 2 months,
sure. Sure,
If you
yeah.
come out, like, the first 2 months of the season.
I mean, I just did this with the Cavs, so I can't really say anything. But like, I feel like that is a large part of the season.
It is. I don't. But I feel like
we all know
that
when you're making these arguments, no sample size counts other than the one that proves your point. Okay?
Exactly.
This is it's just like the MVP debate. It's just like all the rest of these conversations. The only sample size that matters is the one that makes you look good, which is, again, why Lakers big three undefeated in games since like February. Whenever Gabe Vincent started back.
The Celtics lose all their close games, and I'm pretty sure the Bulls are like number 1 or number 2 in clutch wins. Like, so
they are, they're up there. I know.
Yeah.
I think DeMar, people are saying, is like basically like a shoe-in for clutch player of the year.
That series would go like 6, like low key. Whereas like I think the Heat get mushed. I think the Heat are just a smeared, because the Celtics would also take that very seriously. That's like a very personal series.
I think the Celtics are easily winning any of these series. The question for me is which team can extend it to 6. And I feel like the Heat or the Hawks are more likely than the Bulls, personally.
No, I think it's the opposite. I think it's the Bulls. I think the Heat will be a sweep. If the Heat end up in the 8th seed, it's going to be a sweep.
All right, we're taking your word for that one. So we'll leave it at that. So let's move on to the Lakers Pelicans play-in game. That it obviously all comes down to Anthony Davis's health. The Sixers are lucky in that they get an extra day for Joel to get healthy. This game is in 2 days. So
the league is once again trying to rig things against the Lakers. It's ridiculous. All teams' best players come back against them. This doesn't happen to any other team. Okay. No other team has players return against them, and get ready for nationally televised games or anything like that. And then
Lake Shoyo told me. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, LeBron gets terrible whistle all year. He gets hit on every drive to the basket,
Sure.
ever since they changed the rules, especially. And yeah, it's just, and then the league also doesn't give them an extra day rest. It's unfair.
Yeah. No, I mean, you guys are just the small market Lakers can never catch a break. So
they're just a small family business, Trill. Okay. They're just
a
mom and pop
LLC,
shop.
Small LLC, just paying our taxes
trying
like
to get
everyone
by.
else. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hardworking Americans, dude. I pity them, honestly. I pity the Lakers and their poverty franchise history.
It's an inspiring small business success story, I think, if you really think about it. That they've even made it this far. They made it to the Elite 8 of the Western Conference,
Amazing.
After missing their best player, Gabe Vincent, for most of the season. They only got 76 games out of Anthony Davis. I think
he missed those 6 whole games.
Yeah, those 6 games he didn't play in. Again, it's just like, the league, they front loaded the schedule too much. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
I can't imagine having a big guy miss so many games when he's so important to your team. Like, that's just heartbreaking. That would ruin my favorite team season if
it's tough.
Someone miss a big chunk of the schedule. I do have a question for you. Can you tell Sam what your nickname is for this Lakers team? You told me the other day.
Oh no. I
can't believe you forgot. The We Believe Lakers, dude.
Oh, okay. I've been calling them that for years. Okay, yeah. No, I was like, wait, recently I came up with something? Yeah, I mean, we've had the We Believe graphic ready ever since 2020. When like it was weird. It was like every series there would be like a bunch of national pundits that were picking against the team that was like the number 1 seed all year, and they're like, well, I think the Rockets are gonna take them out, and the
scrappy underdogs.
We Believe Lakers was born.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Miracle on Ice, but for basketball, basically.
It was the most like dissonance I've ever felt with like groupthink, because it was also one of the first times in my life that like the Lakers I got to like, or not in my life. It was the first time in my life I had gotten to cover a good Lakers team.
Sure.
And so I was having like serious thoughts about them and seeing the narratives on them and, everything like that. And it was just like, I'm watching these guys just destroy the whole league all year. And then, everyone is sort of like, well, I don't know, Bam and Jimmy might be able to take them out in the finals. And I'm like, I'm not so sure about that.
And then Bam got hurt, obviously, which, the Miami Heat never get injury luck, so it was hard to see that.
Yeah. Before Harrison clarified, not in my lifetime, I could hear Will loading a gun wherever. As a Nets fan.
I've gotten to cover a good Lakers team.
There you go.
And possibly only,
Yeah.
To be clear.
Yeah.
To be clear here, Anthony Davis.
Well, I
said
mean,
there's-
other than the in-season tournament, Lakers, the first ever championship.
if you're listening, he is wearing an in-season tournament.
I'm wearing a bootleg in-season tournament championship shirt. I bought this on the way out of the arena after the only game I went to this year.
That's supporting local small business.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Guy just he asked me for like $15 on Venmo. It was
go.
really affordable.
That's
I'd
great.
shout him out, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, just I don't know. Buy T-shirts from the guys in the parking lot. He was really
Hey.
nice.
Well, that's how Rich Paul got started.
Sometimes they have better
Yeah.
stuff.
It's literally how Rich Paul got started. Yeah.
It's literally
Yeah.
how Rich
All
Paul got
Harrison
started.
has to do is become the greatest basketball player in the world, and then that guy's set for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make him my agent. He really did a great
There you
job
go.
selling me
Yeah.
a leg shirt.
Yeah.
There you go. So AD said there's no way he's missing the game on Tuesday. So he will be playing. We'll see if he's healthy, but he is playing. Pelicans, Lakers. Yeah, so I guess LeBron just owns Zion. Like, Zion has been pretty incredible.
What's a prince to a king? A son. You know.
Let's go.
Let's go.
LeBron will honestly, LeBron will probably tweet that lyric after they beat the Pelicans.
We know he's definitely on Drake's side in this whole thing. Like, I won't claim to understand, all
Well,
the
he was
politics
rapping
of it.
Kendrick's. He was rapping Kendrick's verse the other day at the shoot
So
around.
yeah,
Was he
maybe
not?
he's agnostic. He just likes,
He
just
likes the
rapping.
beef. He
Whatever,
likes
yeah.
the competition. Like,
Yeah.
this is why everyone's mad at J. Cole, is because he was like, I don't want to. Let's just get along.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, we love toxicity, dude. Like, come on,
Yeah.
the toxicity of our city.
Somebody
We
said
need
J.
this.
Cole was Jonathan Majors trying to break up that fight in the.
Yes, exactly. Well, I don't want to slander J. Cole like that too much, but comparing him to Jonathan Majors. But I said I think that Steph Curry has the perfect opportunity to tweet if the Lakers lose the first play-in game, which I think they'll beat the Pelicans, to be clear. But I think
Not if I have anything to say about it. I think they got to tank this one.
okay, fair. But I think that if they lose the first play-in game and then the Warriors escape from the other play-in game to play the Lakers for the chance to get the 8th seed, and Steph goes off and the Warriors beat the Lakers, if he doesn't tweet that Prince outlived Mike Jack from the Kendrick verse, because he's the Prince to the Michael Jackson of
Yeah.
LeBron. That's the equivalent. If he doesn't tweet that, I'm going to be really mad. But anyway, with this, do you really think, like, genuinely, do you really think that there's part of the Lakers that's like, do we just throw this game?
No, I mean the team. No, they're not gonna. It's like, I mean, this is why I can say, like, because it would be so stupid for them to, like, be like, let's put ourselves in a single elimination scenario just for, like, maybe the better. I don't know. I mean, I can make, like, an argument for it, and I'm being half serious. Like, I think it is something that is worth considering, because I just think that, unlike, they probably feel like they have a chance against the Nuggets because they're competitors. I do not feel that way.
Yeah.
And so
It was
Because I'm a logical person.
the closest sweep in playoffs history.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe
If
we'll get
a
the
couple
closest
of those
5
games
games.
go differently,
Gentlemen's
maybe it's 6 games. It's,
Yeah.
You never know. You never
Yeah.
know. All you need is a Devin Booker-like performance from LeBron 2 times to win in that series, like he did last year in the Suns. But
I will say I've seen some Lakers fans saying, well, you'd rather get them early than get them late, because maybe at least you're like healthy by that point, and you sort of, you're probably going to have to beat them to get where you want to go, and where this team, I'm sure, still believes to some degree they can get, so, I mean, maybe you're better off sort of. I would say that if Anthony Davis had not just gotten hurt, though, which sort of changes things, and again, is more of an argument to want to push off that matchup as long as possible. But I mean, they're competitor. Like, they're gonna try and win the game. I don't think they'll seriously consider, like, sitting AD for rest and, like, actually tanking the game.
I mean, I'll say this much. If they somehow lose this game, which obviously Brandon Ingram, they're just like, hey, you're going to play now. Like, wasn't today his first game back?
It was, yeah. No,
like they're just
that's why I was
throwing
making
him
the
into
joke
the fire.
about stars. Yeah, Lakers fans have a thing where they, like, stars always return against the Lakers, and I do think it happens sometimes. Like, but I think it's more of a function of, like, nationally televised game, or like stuff like that. It's not because it's the Lakers. Like,
yeah. And also in this scenario, you don't want to throw him in and be like, hey, your first game back is the play-in game that we need to win. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously picking the Lakers in this game. I think that the Lakers are, if they were to get the Thunder, I would like their chances. I probably would pick them in a series. I don't think they have a chance against the Nuggets, and I think that they probably could beat any team in the West except for the Nuggets. And I think
that's sort of how I feel, which is why I think that they should tank this game. I don't think they will, but they should.
Yeah. That's, if I were doing it, like, fuck it. If we make it back to another conference finals, and like you said, I'm all for the opposite. I always say wait to play a team because the injury variance just goes up as the playoffs go along. Like, and the thing about the Nuggets that I think people are sleeping on a little bit is that
always every contender gets lucky with health to some degree.
Yes.
You know, like that's why every single year we have the stupid August asterisk conversation where everybody tries to put an asterisk on the. They're like, well, they got to play this team that had an injured player and this team that had no champion has ever won against like a not fully healthy field. And this happens like every year. And so that's why I would rather wait and potentially take a chance on being that team.
Yeah, and it's not even like, my thing is like, the thing with the Nuggets is that it's not even Jokic. It's more like, what if Jamal Murray sprains an ankle? What if Aaron Gordon is out? Like, the thing that makes them unbeatable is in this West is their top 5. I don't even know if they're necessarily unbeatable, but their top 5 is so good and so synergistic that like you remove one link from the chain and it might fall apart a little bit. Against the higher levels of competition, I think it at least gives the other team a puncher's chance. And I think that facing them early, I know that you would have more rest in between, and I guess in general you're saying, well, the Lakers might not be able to stay healthy and the Sixers might need to look at it the same way, where it's like, well, if you want to get Joel healthy early in the playoffs and whatever, but both AD and Embiid might not be healthy right now anyway. So I think you try to push it off as far as possible.
No one's ever healthy after 30. You know, it's just
I know my back is. I literally I have podcaster back. I just sit in this chair for a stream for 3 hours, and then I have to like limp around my house for a few days. It's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of sad, but.
What Anthony Davis did to get out of the game, that is me leaving my desk chair at the end of the game. At the end of a day, sometimes, you know, it's just.
It happens. It happens when
I just got a standing desk so that won't happen anymore. You know, it's a weird. Yeah. Well, once you cross 30, you're always hurt. So
should we get AD a standing desk for the playoffs? You think that will work?
Yeah.
Like DeAndre Ayton, he'll just work remotely.
Yeah. Love it.
They've got it on the sidelines instead of him getting rolled out. He's just like working on like Microsoft Teams, like on the bench on a standing desk.
Let's go.
Who was like, rotate, guys, ice on the Zoom call.
Yeah. Who was it who like couldn't sit down at the end? There was a star. Was it Dirk?
It was Russ.
Oh, Russ.
Him coming off the bench. Remember this?
Him coming off the bench almost killed him. He almost died during that Lakers season when he had to go to. It was one of the most dangerous things any star has ever done. Yeah. Frank Vogel had him come off the bench, and I believe. I don't remember, but I think the MRI showed that Russ's spine nearly just like split in half from having to check into the game like 4 minutes later than he's used to.
Yeah.
You know?
And then somehow they came up with a miraculous cure by the time he got to the Clippers.
Yeah, well, no, and then it was crazy. As soon as he was starting again for the Lakers, he was healthy, and so it did prove that it was just the bench that was injuring his back.
Gotcha.
The Lakers just don't pay for the nice ergonomic chairs. Maybe the Clippers do. You know?
Maybe that's a good point. That Ballmer money, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, they got the foam rollers over there. You know, the little ergonomic support thing to put on the chair.
Right. The Clippers are the 1%, and the Lakers are like the 99%.
Lakers just have the one Phil Jackson chair for one person. And so it's like LeBron gets it and Russ was out of luck, you know?
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense actually. You got to cut corners wherever you can when you're a small business. So I get it. So let's talk about let's just say the Lakers do lose, Harrison. Because I think we're all picking the Lakers to beat the Pelicans, right? They beat the shit out of them all season. They handled them today.
Yes, which is why I think I might pick the Pelicans. Just because I think that
they can't let you down again. You know, it's
matchups aren't real.
Well, no, I just think that like because it sets up the most interesting thing in the playoffs, and that we never get that lucky. Like that would be a much more fun bracket if it was Lakers Thunder and Pelicans Nuggets. But I don't think we're gonna get like. I think pick the most boring, shittiest matchup, and that's like probably what's going to happen, and that would be the Pelicans winning. So I might
The
actually
thing that I will say is that if AD is actually limited in this game, like we don't know how hurt he is. He looked like he was limping today, but sometimes you tweak your back and you're fine in like a couple days or whatever. They have access to trainers and that kind of thing. But if he is actually not healthy, like I do think that the Pelicans have a real shot because the Lakers just cannot defend for shit without Anthony Davis. It's some of the worst defense you will ever watch in an NBA game. Like if Anthony Davis is not out there, even if he's not out there at 100%, they have so many liabilities that he is covering up for, like one of those Looney Tunes trying to stick their fingers in like all the little leak holes in, and so if he's not healthy, then I think the Pelicans like could win, but I certainly would not pick them knowing what we know right now.
And I also just think that LeBron right now at the stage in his career, is there any player that it would be like more confident to be like, let's lose this one and win the next one? That is like such an old man LeBron thing to do, to just like mail in the first game of the play-in and then just to get the better seeding. Like he might do that. The other players might not do that, but LeBron.
Him and AD is like one last FU to Pelicans ownership, announced in advance that they're both sitting out, so they don't even sell out the game.
Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna pick the Pelicans, even though I don't think that even though I don't know if I really believe it, but I'm gonna pick it and take my victory lap when that happens.
It is hard to beat a team twice, like 2 games in a row. I guess
I said that. Yeah, it is. That's the best chance the Pelicans have. It's really hard.
Yeah, like I don't think they're gonna win, but I mean they have a chance.
But this game today, just keep in mind, this game today meant way more to the Pelicans. I know it meant something to the Lakers because the Lakers they wouldn't have had to win 2 to get in. But
although in retrospect, maybe they should just.
I know they should have just thrown this game and then you win 2 to get in. But long story short here, the Pels could have avoided the play-in if they just won today, and they would have gotten the Timberwolves instead of the Nuggets.
The other thing here, though, is just assuming that God wants only the worst things for Pelicans fans. Them winning would be the worst thing. Then they just get annihilated by the Nuggets. So I think I'm sticking with it because it lines up in a lot of different ways. It makes for a worse playoffs, my worst playoff parable. So yeah, I'm sticking with that. I don't think Anthony Davis is going to play.
Bill said in the comments, contrarian Sam going back for more contrarian takes. Hungry Sam hungry.
Sam hungry.
Sam with the Pelicans and the Heat in opposite ways is like, it would be like if somebody just kept showing someone who was really religious that there was like conclusive evidence that there is no God. Like they somehow proved it. And then Sam is just like, yeah, but like if all these things that I believed before are true, then it could happen.
Then what?
Then
what?
I would be awesome at being religious. By the way, any like really religious honeys out there, like I can ride or die. Like I've been like training for this my entire life. Yeah, I'm really good at arguing for things that I don't believe in. So
there you go. DMs are open.
DMs are open.
Women.
Yeah.
He can convert to anything you want.
You see that?
What's your religion, Sam? Yeah. He's down to learn.
I'm guessing Greek Orthodox. Like, tag me in. Let's go.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So so I pick Lakers. Harrison picked Lakers. Mm-hmm. Sam's picking Pelicans.
Did he even pick the Pelicans? He said, like, I'm picking the Pelicans,
yes,
even though
I'm picking the Pelicans. No, I'm picking the Pelicans.
Sam has never once picked the Lakers for anything on the podcast, to be fair. So I don't think it's
true. I can't recall it, if he had.
Maybe last play-in against the Wolves, but I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
No, there's no way.
Well, we knew Gobert wasn't playing in that game.
Oh.
Yeah.
But Sam definitely made the argument that they're going to be better without
he was
Gobert.
going on like generational hating rants that entire Lakers run. There's no way he picked them in any of those.
There's 100% chance you're right. Yeah.
I still have the clip saved. I play them sometimes.
Yeah.
although a year ago, Sam, Lakers versus small bean drafting team Grizzlies, I can't remember, but I'll have to go back and investigate that one.
I did. I think
you might have picked the Lakers. I think I picked the Grizzlies in 7.
He's like, Jaws coming in gunslinging, guys. There's no way the Grizzlies are going to.
Literally.
Yeah.
So Kings Warriors, we get a rematch of last year's 3-6 matchup in the West. The Kings are kind of falling apart physically down the stretch of this season. No Malik Monk, no Kevin Huerter. They honestly, they shouldn't even be in this game. They choked away a game against the Suns the other night that they should have won. They should have avoided this game altogether. They should have been in the higher play-in game at a minimum, if not a higher seed. I honestly, I've been saying all season with the Warriors, I think there's going to be a play-in game. I don't know if it's this play-in game and they win this one or it's the next one where they're going to be up like 15 and everyone's going to be like, oh man, the Warriors are back. They're going to play the Thunder in the first round, up 15, and then they're going to blow the lead and lose the play-in game, and their season's going to be over.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen at one point in either this game or the following game, because this entire season, they have been up like 18, and we're like, are they back? And then they lose in embarrassing fashion to like the Atlanta Hawks or whatever. So who do you guys think is going to win Kings Warriors? I'm still taking the Warriors right now only because I feel like the Kings are they don't have enough guys. Like I watch their games and I'm like, Keon Ellis is pretty good. Actually, he's not bad, but like beyond the top 3 guys and him, like on any given night, they're playing like Chris Duarte, a lot of Davion Mitchell. And I just don't believe in any of their deeper rotation guys if they have to play them off the bench.
Playoff dropper, Domantas Sabonis too. Like
against the Warriors.
And also the
yes.
Warriors, we've seen the Warriors have a matchup advantage there. And then the Kings are even worse now because all their guys are banged up. Like I can't pick the Kings.
I'm going to be picking the Warriors and prove it to me, Kings. Come on, Domantas Sabonis. Let's see it.
I will say the one advantage.
Adam Silver somewhere in his office, he's like, we avoided the Lakers and Warriors being in the same play-in game. And then we're going to get at least a round of both of them in the playoffs.
Oops.
Yeah.
Maybe. There's still a possibility. But so the Warriors, the one thing I will say that the Kings do have an advantage of, before Fox got hurt in that series last year, he was pretty electric. And the Warriors' point of attack defense might be even worse this year than it was last year. It's really bad. And they can't really seem to stay in front of anyone who has like an electric first step or is like super bursty and athletic. So I could see Fox kind of, just having like a heater game in this game and keeping the Kings in it at a minimum. But I just think that team's too beaten down, too injured. And I'm going to go with the Warriors. And then I think that the second play-in game is where they have their kind of embarrassing fumble, where they're up big on either the Lakers or the Pelicans, probably the Pelicans, and they end up fumbling the bag. And then we get a generational Warrior spaces with Jim Park going full psycho mode on Steve Kerr. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. We will be there no matter what. We will be seated. Save me a spot. All of the above. I really can't wait for that once they win.
I'm here for the Jim Park thing. It would be very interesting to see the Warriors and the Lakers both make the playoffs. I think that would be like very interesting especially if the Pelicans. I don't think the Pelicans have much of a chance against either of their possible matchups.
Yeah.
At least like with
they might be able to steal 2 games from the Thunder, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The Chet Wemby, you have the Wario Waluigi matchup thing, but I don't know. I think on the road, I think that's
the top code switchers.
Yeah, the code switchers. Yeah, right.
Wait, you said Chet Wemby. Do you mean Chet Zion?
Sorry, Chet Zion. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the Wario Waluigi. Sorry, I've got the Chembis on the brain. Wet and Chemby are too ingrained in my mind. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see them, but I do kind of want the Warriors to lose in the play-in somehow, and they probably will, just because that Jim Sparks space. I might like leave the game early to make sure I get this spot.
We will not miss that for anything in the world. I will be there.
Be like the most clipped niche Twitter spaces of all time.
Yep.
Yeah.
There will be I will create a meme of me wearing sweatpants and pajama clothes, me at my wedding versus me at me at a tux, me at the Jim Park play an elimination game space. I can't wait it. Yeah. I honestly
why didn't Steve Kerr just play Trace Jackson Davis 48 minutes?
He might be spinning.
Yeah. Maybe
By the way, you know who's second in rookie BPM this year?
Trace Jackson Davis?
+3. Wemby's a +5.3.
Who did any
Two
draft
best
Twitter
rookie bigs in the league? You know, it's
any draft Twitter guys have Trace Jackson Davis in their top 15? Oh wait, that was me.
A lot of people did. He was a huge draft Twitter guy.
Really? Trace Jackson Davis?
Yeah. That's how I found out how good he was.
That doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah. No, he was a lot of people did. Yeah.
Okay. Brian doesn't count. It's I was talking about other people. It's fine.
There were a lot of people that like Trace Jackson Davis.
I'm inventing a new reality for myself where I can be
fair.
right. So yeah.
like, let me call up Kevin O'Connor. He'll set this straight.
Yeah,
you know?
KOC will help me out here.
He's the only guy in draft Twitter that I trust.
With my
life.
I'm calling KOC. He's gonna fire up the Tesla. We're gonna chop it up. It's gonna be awesome.
Driving around LA after the Lakers make the playoff, we believe Lakers make the playoffs, and just chopping it up.
KOC just released basically a Tolstoy War and Peace length post where he was like saying that like they should be able to pick their like the same thing Zach Lowe says. It's like top seed should be able to pick their opponents, even though teams clearly don't want to do that. And I was like,
I actually am with Lowe that they should like the NBA should force this. I don't care if teams want to do it. Like I want to see it.
The Cavs did it today. To be fair, the Cavs basically did
it today. And we called them cowards.
Yeah, exactly.
I get why teams don't want to do it because of like bulletin board material and like it's like, oh, we don't want to get embarrassed. And it's like it's another Adam Silver thing where it's just like he's trying to protect players and teams from getting humiliated or whatever. Like, no, I want someone to pick a team and then get upset by them.
That's a fundamental. If that's the reason, that's a fundamental misunderstanding of what NBA fans want. We like thrive on humiliation. Like we're not here to see anyone.
They don't care
win.
what the fans want. They just want like the players to not get like memed or whatever or made fun of. They're like, oh, it's too.
They don't want to upset the union.
They're not giving. They're not giving the fans what they want, because if it were really about the fans and you understood the fans, we are all evil little demons who don't want. We don't care about seeing our team win. I want to see another.
It's more important to watch our enemies fail. You know?
Yes,
exactly.
I'll take the Celtics losing in round 1 if it means that the Miami Heat don't make the playoffs.
I agree with that. Personally, I totally
enjoyed
okay
that
with
Heat Game 7 last year, like as much as any game during the Lakers playoff run, just like Cinderella run to the Western Conference Finals. Like it's.
Honestly, if you are earlier in the season, this was before the Eagles' downfall, but Chiodo had a post and he's like, I'm not even talking shit, but man, it's gotta suck to be an Eagles hater. And then we immediately fell apart after that, and it was kind of hilarious. But that's kind of like the opposite for the Sixers, where I'm like, man, you must be eating good if you hate the Sixers, dude. We go out embarrassing every single fucking year. You're just like, I just got to wait around, and then eventually this team falls apart, and then I'm just smoking on the Sixers back like fucking James Worthy in the post game. But yeah. Anyway.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's the king. He's the GOAT. So we're all picking the Warriors to win this game?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll go Warriors, and then since me and you picked the Pelicans to lose, who do you think would win in a Warriors-Pelicans play-in game? Harrison?
I'm going to go with the Warriors.
Yeah, I think I'll go with the Warriors too. I'm just going to keep picking the Warriors until they finally miss out on the playoffs.
I mean, part of this is skewed sample size because I watch the Lakers more than any other team. And so I've just seen the Pelicans at their worst, like at every single point. I only see them at their low point. You know, I only see them in the sweatpants versus at the wedding, you know? And so it's hard for me to pick them to be. Everyone's like, oh, the Pelicans, they've been on this fun run. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like
they suck. What are you talking about
this year? They're terrible.
It's a big reason why I was on the Cavs being frauds before everyone else, because the Sixers always, I actually think the only game we lost to them we did lose a game to them with Joel early in the season, but we beat them twice without Joel this year and almost beat them a third time without Joel. So I was like, oh, this team's super fraudulent. Like I just knew from the jump, and now everyone else has caught up. But I do want to take back my prediction there. I'm taking the Pelicans to beat the Warriors because I need my prediction from earlier in the season. Like, Warriors go up big, and then CJ McCollum like can't miss in the second half like he did. Did you know that in a 4-game span, CJ McCollum made 29 threes this past week?
No, I
was
thought
incredible
that was,
this
believe
past
it or not, that was something I was tracking going into this matchup.
Yeah, and then he was not on fire today, I assume. Or at least it didn't matter if he did hit a bunch of shots. So,
He
Sam,
hit some early. I don't know what he finished with.
yeah, I don't think he finished with much. So, Sam, this is your side would be Warriors versus Lakers, I believe.
I will be picking the Lakers on this one. So.
Okay, so you'll take the Lakers over the Warriors.
Yes.
And then you'll have the Lakers and the Thunder in the first round.
Yes.
Do you think the Lakers will win that series?
I do.
All right, we'll go further. We'll go further into the matchups after. We'll do the Patreon episode later this week, and we'll go further into the matchups once the first play-in games are played and we know a little bit more. But let's talk about the last play-in game that is set: Hawks versus Bulls. These teams are so fucking funny to me, dude. The Hawks are just terrible when Trey and DeJounte both play, but like not bad when one of them is out, and they're both gonna play in this game. And the Bulls, like you guys said, have had so many clutch wins. I think there's a chance that Alex Caruso just takes over this game like he's done so many times this year. Kobe White and DeMar. Like I think Vooch will be the worst player on the court. I think he's been impossibly bad this season. But I also don't know if the Hawks have more hoopers and guys who are built for the moment in this with Trey and DeJounte, but that team doesn't work together. And I can't pick them knowing that they're on the road. I can't pick them knowing that duo has just fell short so many times. And they did win. They've never lost in the play-in, by the way. They're 3-0 in the play-in. Never lost. So that's the one scenario where you could maybe talk yourself into it. Trae Young's just, I guess, a play-in superstar. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bulls just because I think the Bulls have been the better team and they make a little bit more sense, even though I don't really believe in the Bulls at all. So
I'm also picking the Bulls. I think the Bulls are just a better team. I think the Bulls are a little bit better than they're getting credit for. I think that they're like
they're not.
All right. Well,
don't worry about that.
All right. Well, we'll see.
It depends on how much credit you think they're getting, because I mean they're like okay. They're aggressively mediocre to sort
below
of bad.
Average. Yeah.
They're
not top 20 in either offense or defense.
Yes,
that's a bad team.
I said this last year, and the Bulls almost made it out of the 10 seed. Like they were like a minute away from doing this, and everyone said the Bulls were bad last year.
And then they lost in the play-in. Yeah. Exactly.
They won a play-in game and then almost beat a Heat team that went to the conference finals.
They beat the Raptors, and then the Raptors, who Masai Ujiri finally was able to look in the mirror and say, I can't keep getting away with this. I need to stop lying to myself. We lost the play-in game to the Bulls. I'm blowing this up at the
DeMar DeRozan's daughter just defeated our team.
Exactly.
I can't keep these guys together.
Yeah, in a way, DeMar has had so much more impact on the Toronto Raptors than any other player in the franchise history. If you consider the championship trade for Kawhi and then his daughter ruining that iteration of the Raptors in the play-in game. So
I'm picking the Bulls to be the 8th seed.
So you're picking them to beat the Heat.
Yes.
In the second game.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going Bulls Heat over the Heat. Okay.
Yes.
And then Harrison.
But you're not scared. It's just because you hate them so much.
I don't want that to happen. I want it to be the Heat, but the Heat are such frauds this year that it can't be helped. So,
Harrison, who are you taking in Bulls Hawks?
I'm going Bulls because I think that one of the funniest. Well, I also think they're better than the Hawks, but also
you have an agenda here. Future Laker Trae Young.
Well, no, it's going to be. It's sadder than that. It's the Lakers are going to give up all their remaining draft picks for the LeBron AD era to go after a guy who got clamped by Alex Caruso, a guy that they let go for free in the 9-10 play-in game.
That actually is pretty depressing. But Trey with those two, you could talk me into that.
No, I mean I think they'd be good. It would just be it would still be sad.
It would still be funny considering, the fact that
at least Taylor Horton-Tucker's turned into their next franchise star. So I mean that would make it hurt more if he had not.
Exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to live with yourself if you chose Taylor Horton-Tucker over Alex.
Yeah,
Caruso.
I mean he did get them Pat Bev, who they then traded for Mo Bamba.
Right, and then they all became Sixers. So Alex Cruz
Yeah.
is a future Sixer, is what you're trying to say, and Taylor Horton Tucker.
Yeah, just a transaction tree.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait for next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. Former Lakers. That is Morey's marketed efficiency. Drummond, Dwight Howard, Danny
D'Angelo
Green.
Russell with max cap space.
There you go. D'Angelo Russell this offseason. Also, Pat Bev, Mo Bamba. It's like you guys have good taste in role players, apparently, and then
you guys had I think you guys had 3 or 4 consecutive backup bigs that were just the backup big from the Lakers. The year
DeAndre
before.
Jordan, Montrezl Harrell.
Wolf's spitting here.
Dwight Howard.
LeBron James.
Yes.
LeBron and D'Lo teaming up with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey.
And Isaiah Collier and Bronny James. Don't forget that in the draft.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that part. That's all part of the play. And Ricky Council,
Morey
the
is
fourth.
definitely the GM most I guess maybe it would be Ainge, but Morey is probably maybe second most likely to just draft Bronny and hold him hostage to get LeBron to sign with them, right?
100% chance.
Danny Ainge literally did this with traded for Austin Rivers and then fucking held him hostage with Doc to get fucking draft picks out of the Clippers. Do you guys remember that?
No.
They traded with the Pelicans. It was that weird interim year. Because people don't even remember that Austin Rivers was he didn't play a game for the Celtics, but he was.
I didn't know that he was on the Celtics.
Yeah, I did not know that he was ever a Celtic. I thought that was a Pelicans 2 Clippers trade.
No. Austin Rivers was technically on the Celtics for a little bit, but he never played a game, and they expanded the trade and they might have expanded it and made it a three-way trade 7 days later or something like that. But Danny Ainge essentially did this with Austin Rivers back in 2015 or something like that, which was very funny.
It makes sense. Danny Ainge is a Mormon.
LeBron's gonna go full Liam Neeson, I guess. Taken.
Liam Neeson.
I'm glad I let you cook there because my joke wasn't going to be as good. I was going to say Ainge is a Mormon, and we know they love 3 ways, so it makes sense that he.
There we go.
He opened up the trade later.
Are we sure this isn't a Patreon episode?
Let's go.
He'd really have to let LeBron soak in that one and decide if he wanted to do it.
God damn it!
Oh man,
What?
I almost just spit out my iced coffee all over the floor of my office.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh boy.
All right, so we're all picking the Bulls here, and then in the second play-in game, you guys, Sam's taking the Bulls over the Heat. Who would you pick in a Bulls Heat play-in game, Harrison?
I would pick the Heat.
Okay, so the Heat play the Celtics in the first round.
Yeah,
let's go.
There's no agenda. That's my basketball pick.
I'll take the Sixers over the Bulls because I picked the Sixers to lose the first play-in game, and then we will get. I thought it was going to be the conference finals, Sixers Celtics. Unfortunately, it might end up being in the first round.
It's the conference finals of the play-in.
There you go. Well, the first round will basically be the conference finals in my mind if it's Sixers Celtics. So that will at least be good for the podcast. That's at a minimum. But we will be back later this week. Thank you for joining us today, Harrison.
Yes.
I think that I'm going to be very nervous on Wednesday. So if you want to join me on the playback, guys, I would really appreciate it. Hop on there and watch me lose my mind. I will be getting drunk. I decided since we hit over 600 paid Patreon subscribers, drunk streams coming back. Sixers Heat, what a perfect way to possibly lose my mind live on the stream. Thank you again for joining us, Harrison, and subscribe to the Patreon if you guys have not already. So anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, just check out SB Nation NBA.
Let's go. Yeah, you work for a place, right?
Yeah,
probably should have plugged that up top.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you guys ever need social services, I'm a community case manager at.
Cut that, please.
Oh, cut that. No. So.
Oh, thank you everyone for joining. What a fun day. I will see you on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we'll be back later in the week with the Patreon episode. So, bye.
Bye.